well in the competition. A great side out tonight. They go and do what they did to Chelsea. Destroy Chelsea in the first 20-25 minutes. Can they do that against Arsenal here?
City have won their last 9 home games in the FA Cup, scoring at least 3 goals in every win. 40 goals in total in those 9 games, which is the second best record of such stats in the history of the competition. You have to go back to 1881 to 1885, Blackburn Rovers, who did it 12 games in a row. They're going to make it 10 City. Arsenal are going to be on the receiving end, but they will have their own sense of resistance. They've got a very informed striker, Eddie Nketiah, 2 goals last Sunday against Manchester United in the league, 2 goals in the 3rd round against Oxford United, and filling in for the player signed from Manchester City, Gabriel Jesus, being more than a stand-in, and incidentally the other player from City that has joined Arsenal this season and done very well, Zinchenko, is amongst the substitutes. So we're underway, the 4th round is underway, and here's Gabriel, and he's the one surviving member of the starting back four against Manchester United last Sunday. Tomiyasu actually came on for the second half. Ben White, who didn't have a very good time against Marcus Rashford, was withdrawn. Referee is Paul Tierney. Some of you might have been watching the Fulham-Tottenham game on Monday night when he had a lot of trouble with the technical communications. His pack didn't work, linking with VAR. Delayed the start of both halves, but we're off on time tonight. VAR, as Mikel Arteta knows too well, does apply here. It doesn't in every FA Cup game, because all of them are Premier League grounds. Of course, that's another debate for another time, but it's certainly a debate. And here's Haaland shrugging, holding aside. Ooh, fouling holding.
Well, physically, I think this could be a mismatch. Erling Haaland was way too strong, so it looked. The hold in there, who's grabbing hold of who? There you can see Holding is grabbing hold of
Holding is holding.
But I think Haaland may have backed into him to start with, and that's what the referee has given.
Yeah, that was the very first offence. You're absolutely right, Stuart.
And I think that's a worry for that man there. Coming into the side against, as we talked about, one of the best strikers in world football, if not the best.
That by Rodri, but will take it. It's all the way by Nketiah. In goes Gabriel.
Ortega would do well to notice and remember that Zach Steffen had a really poor semi-final last year against Liverpool, which really cost Manchester City a place in the final. Dwelt too long on the ball. Sadio Mane pinched it off him.
Yeah, it does seem these days that the top clubs can only get a backup goalkeeper if they promise them some game time. Ortega and Turner have been playing in the domestic cups. Turner has to guide it out to Partey there, and here's Holding. Met each other 5 times. That's a risky one from Turner. 5 times in the FA Cup. Arsenal won the last 4. Occasion coming on to the final. The last 3 they've won.
Well, that was really poor play by the goalkeeper and some of the Arsenal back players. Man City pressing high up the field. Grealish, De Bruyne, Haaland, Mahrez, and they try and play it from the back. They don't do it particularly well. Rodri, he's getting underneath that one.
Here's Gabriel. Between these clubs, but both in the FA Cup, both in the semi-final stage. Grealish did play in an FA Cup final for Aston Villa against Arsenal. Well, the change, and there aren't too many for Manchester City. City tonight, but Rodri is a theme running through the team, a one-man theme.
Just looking at it tactically, watch out for Rico Lewis, who was down at right back, and he will be at right back for some of the game, but he's also gone into a midfield area early on here.
Yeah, that's Kyle Walker blueprint, really. Sky blueprint. And here's Trossard, Belgium international, of course. The winning goal against Manchester United. From Iesu, well saved by Ortega. The Japan international hit that hard and true. Backed by Tierney. Bruyne has to get a touch defensively. Good moments these for Arsenal. Trossard. Tierney. Brilliant jacket. Trossard tries again. Saka coming in at the back post. Okay. The defender with the greatest responsibility of dealing with, as Stuart described, maybe the most effective English player in the Premier League. I guess Marcus Rashford fans would probably want to put him on a par, if not ahead, but they are the two. And they're attacking with great news for England as the international team. The team in such great form.
I like to play it safe by saying possibly, always before everything. There's a multitude of sins, possibly.
No one's saying he shouldn't be on your list, Stuart, that's for sure.
But that will be an intriguing battle on that far side of the pitch. Saka against Nathan Ake, who's been good over the last year and a half for Man City.
John Stones, the squad to the quarter-finals.
What a good start it's been for Trossard. He set up Tomiyasu for the strike here. He hits it really cleanly, just keeps his eye on the ball, hits it with his laces, slightly slices across it, which takes it back to the keeper. And a decent save from Ortega.
Tomiyasu can play anywhere across the back line. Most of his football passed over his time at right back, but more recently he's used as a left back. De Bruyne.
I saw a bit of him, quite a bit of him, at Bologna. He played as a right-sided centre-back in the back three. And then when they changed the system, he'd go to a normal right-back. I saw him play as a right wing-back. That's not a good throw from Lewis.
He's from Manchester. It's one of their own. FA Cup winners' medals, as does Granit Xhaka. Katia came on as a substitute in 2020.
Again, you can see Lewis playing right in the centre of midfield alongside Rodri. John Stones is coming that little bit wider at times.
Emirates had to go in the middle really to get an involvement. Must have started pretty well. Great friendship between the two coaches, but both steely competitors, that relationship put on hold. It's 90 minutes.
Two other interesting developments so far. Tierney's got in with De Bruyne at times.
Misjudgment by Holding. The goalkeeper's done well to delay it, but Haaland gets it on target somehow, but Tomiyasu's to deal with the real threat to Manchester City taking the lead.
Holding's got a problem against Haaland, that's for sure. Turner comes out, saves the day. There's the ball down the side. Makes a real mess of it, Holding. He was claiming he was fouled. just about did enough, and so did Tomiyasu, getting himself back into the 6-yard box.
There's 14 games here. Erling Haaland has scored 22 goals. One of the big stats, 31 running away in all competition, 25 in the Premier League. He's on the cusp of setting all sorts of records. It's his first taste of the FA Cup, and he could have had a couple of goals already. Saka against Ake. Tomiyasu. He gives it away. It's only a minor approach to it. Arsenal come here time to time in the past and change kits. And it does rubber stamp the rivalry here to see them in their home kit. As well, City are as well. It looks like Manchester City against Arsenal.
There's who we were talking about before the game. Man of the moment, I would say. Saka has been absolutely brilliant. He's good at the World Cup. It's always a mystery why he was taken off against France. And he was causing them all sorts of problems. He won the penalty.
Trossard very nearly getting away. Good length of leg to make tackles like that. An interesting race. Stones isn't slow. Trossard started pace. He's got clever feet as well. Stones winning the head.
Well, he fell out with everybody at Brighton. His last few weeks at Brighton were very good, weren't they? In terms of his form.
He scored before the World Cup, of course, scored a hat-trick away to Liverpool. Which is still a feat for any player. And incidentally, have turned down a bid today, we understand, for Moises Caicedo, the Ecuadorian midfield player from Arsenal. Light in midfield. So Gundogan tries to cut through that department. Here's Grealish. Turning back on the train. Haaland has gone near post. El Neni, who scored in the third round against Oxford United. Now maybe for the rest of the season as a backup midfielder.
They are playing with 3 in midfield today. Jack is on the left-hand side. Partey's the holding midfield player. Vieira's to the right of him.
Record in the FA Cup. Last 2 ties here that he's played in against London clubs. By coincidence, Fulham and Chelsea scored 2 in each of them.
A very good pass from Erling Haaland. Gundogan had to chase it. Just raised his boot here. It's Vieira. She pulls his boot back down. It's not the boot on head contact.
A little bit of unsettling talk around Ilkay Gundogan. He's been offered a new contract. We understand he hasn't signed it. His offers have been in the pipeline for a good few months now. Silva, who's not involved in the starting 11, another one who might be looking to flee the nest. Towards Holding, Partey gets a touch, Saka with a snapshot. Tierney's there. Xhaka staying back as an insurance. City only making a couple of changes, one of those in goal, there will be more fluency. But actually, Arsenal, having put this team together, I think they've had 3 or 4 days to work on it. You can see that work. Haaland going more and more towards holding.
Yeah, when they're pressing the ball, Manchester City, Mahrez has gone in field. There's another striker to go and try and press the 2 centre-backs. That's when Lewis comes that little bit wide. It's up against Tierney.
Skimmer of a clearance by Turner. Here is none the worse for that. Time from Gundogan. Pass was also good.
That's a better decision from the goalkeeper. There wasn't room to play out from the back, so he went into Saka. That'd been a better pass from Vieira. Saka would have been a 1v1 against Nathan Ake.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of deliveries from the goalkeeper. It's not too floaty, not floaty at all, in fact. We've got a better chance of hitting a teammate. He gets in front of his man, as Saka just did. More loft on that, Haaland slept, but Holding's able to deal with it. Haaland goes back together. From offside position.
Frustrating first 15 minutes, really, for Manchester City.
Barella was irritated by some pre-match questioning, which was all about what do you make of Arsenal's team. His team aren't making too much of a fist of it against the reshaped Arsenal lineup, although there's no great surprises. As though Mikel Arteta has pulled a tactical rabbit from the hat.
One thing he has tried to do, Arteta, when the goalkeeper, Ortega, has got the ball, Tierney's going in with Kevin De Bruyne. Gabriel is coming out with Mahrez, so they're not going to allow Kevin De Bruyne, or the ball to be chipped into Kevin De Bruyne.
These City players were here when Mikel Arteta was the assistant manager. They would know a lot about them. Maybe Lewis. Own statement in recent matches. They played Chelsea in the league before they played them here in the FA Cup for the 3rd round. And there was a lot of talk about Grealish and Mahrez, who combined for the 1 goal of the night. They came on as a pair of substitutes, but at half time Lewis came on. He did very well in these sort of areas, and some stability and possession to Manchester City. A great compliment for one so young.
Absolutely. Got a bit frustrated on a couple of occasions. Haaland made a run in behind Arsenal, the ball didn't come in.
Grealish. By Tomiyasu, foul by the right back.
When you want Grealish running with the ball, he's going the other way, not actually going back towards his own goal. Tomiyasu a chance to put him under a bit of pressure. A bit of a chunter at referee Tierney. Too many errors for the referee so far. Technical contest here. Flicking on. Too straight. Vieira. A big part in the 3rd round win to Oxford United. He did get in trouble for behaviour on the field, a £40,000 fine, which is what they also got for surrounding the referee. A few days earlier against Newcastle at Emirates Stadium.
runner trying to link up with it was Gundogan. Picked off by Roger. De Bruyne. Really get himself into the game in meaningful positions, which he's so good at doing. Kanji. Tried to go wide when they can, Manchester City, but Tierney saw that one coming.
Yeah, too much loft on the pass. Defensively, Arsenal have been excellent so far in the game.
Tierney is one of those, along with Holding and Xhaka, who did start the FA Cup win in 2020. Kanji. Gundogan trying to tuck it around the corner. Gabriel was tight on Erling Haaland. It's just as well for Arsenal that he was.
And for once, Haaland didn't read the pass from Gundogan.
Piece of distribution further up the pitch by Matt Turner. Here's Saka. Vieira. Now Trossard, one-on-one with Lewis, getting his shot away, pushed out towards Vieira, but the City boot got there first. The Tigers had to make a couple of saves, certainly in 20 minutes, when Arsenal attacked. And they've done so with a certain amount of menace.
Well, that's a really good save by Ortega. Hit with a fair amount of venom from Trossard, little step over. Got it onto his left foot, that was arrowing into the far corner. Good effort from the Belgium.
Saka. As well. That's Grealish on his way. Read it well. Through for keeper. Trossard was the danger at the other end.
There's the strike. What you don't see there is his little step over to buy himself half a yard. It's a good hand. It's a nice height for the goalkeeper. It's a good, solid hand, isn't it?
Rodri did well to get first to the loose ball as it was pushed out. Ortega. Free transfer from Bielefeld. Grealish. Strongly.
That was really good centre-forward play by Erling Haaland. Brought it down in the 1v1 against Holding, set it wide for Grealish, then made the next forward run.
Halfway through the first half. Fascinating contest between these two in the pursuit of silverware this season. He's produced a very decent pass with his left foot to Xhaka. Here's Tierney. From both coaches in the right direction towards their teams. I imagine they would have a go at each other.
I think of the two managers, Arteta will be the happier after this first 23 minutes. Really being put under too much pressure. Arsenal have created two good chances, one for Tomiyasu, and the one for Trossard.
8 years ago this month. 2-0 success. That was before the Guardiola reign actually started. He's off! You probably heard the cry for the offside flag, which duly went up. international test for Rob Holding. He's played a lot of first-team football, but he's not really in the Premier League setup these days. Haaland is now on the ball, wrong side of Holding. He's still trying to get back. They're waiting for it, and then Mahrez might have other ideas of both the goal. One with a left foot of his, it comes out to Lewis. And now De Bruyne. He tries to curl it. It bent, but not quite enough. It was a great effort. Emerging from the shadows of the match, really.
He hasn't really been involved at all. This is a good bit of play. He threatens to pass it out wide. Trossard gets beaten. Doesn't quite get out quickly enough, puts his arms behind his back. And De Bruyne bends it round him, but just can't get enough whip on it. Really good effort. Pretty similar in terms of attempts.
On target.
It's Ortega that's had to make the two saves so far.
Vieira. Space between the lines. He's going to use, and Trossard had a chance maybe to take it off past Lewis. Just put it too wide for him. Partey. Tierney. Reverse it. For Trossard. Incidentally, it's an FA Cup dispute, really. Ended the time at Brighton for Trossard. He wasn't picked for their third-round tie at Middlesbrough, and he wasn't happy about that. There was a bit of a falling out. Zerbi, the relatively new Brighton coach, Mikel Arteta was frustrated after doing, I'm told, 18 months' work on Mudryk to get him from Shakhtar. And suddenly, in not much more than 18 hours, they got Trossard. And he is at least a ready-made player for the Premier League, whereas Mudryk, well, he's looked very good in his mountain for Chelsea so far. And I'm sure will be very good. Trossard's not a bad, if you can't get the one, and Mudryk wanted to come to Arsenal, they're led to believe anyway. Chelsea came up with the money.
Yeah, quite often that's the case. You can't always get the one you want. Take the one you can get. As you said, Trossard is a very good player, has been for Brighton for a decent time now.
It seems everybody wants Brighton's players. They're having an outstanding season. They've got a World Cup winner in Alexis McAllister. Here's Partey. Saka, picked up by Tomiyasu. Wants to take on Ake. Steps at the vital moment. And the Dutch defender comes away with the ball. Gundogan, clever turn. And kick given. City's favour.
Just one or two of the Man City players look a little bit off the pace at the moment. Being one of them, really got involved in the game. We talked about Kevin De Bruyne had that effort. Usually after the first 28 to 30 minutes, he'd have been dominating the game.
Plenty of Arsenal fans here. There's different allocations for the FA Cup to get more tickets, the away side. So challenge for Holding. Too happy to stop it. It would be into the back of the net, so I think the referee is right to do that.
Yeah, the Man City players aren't happy with the challenge by Holding. And the Arsenal players weren't happy that the game was stopped. He knows he's going to be in for a tough evening, Rob Holding.
27 now. And 150 times for Arsenal. So twice in FA Cup winning teams. But you wouldn't say he was really match sharp from this season.
Well, do you remember they bought Callum Chambers, didn't they, Arsenal, alongside Rob Holding, and they were going to be the next two centre-halves at one point. Neither of them quite fulfilled their potential. Chance for both coaches to get some ideas across, yeah. Arsenal have been able to dictate the pace, both with and without the ball. When they've had the ball, they've been able to play quite easily and get it into the top third of the field without too many problems. And Man City have had to play at a slow tempo. There's been times when John Stones has had the ball and he can't see a pass, and he's passed it square, it's come back to him, he can't see another pass, gone back to the goalkeeper. Well, look at their most threatening Man City when the goalkeeper goes from back to front, up to Erling Haaland.
Continue, of course, these days, not before time. Concussion checks conducted very thoroughly. There is a move, of course, it was actually turned down by IFAB, the lawmakers, about having temporary concussion substitutes. So a player like the situation, well, if we checked out for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or whatever the allocated time would be, somebody else could come on for those 10 minutes. The regulation, if the player goes off with concussion, an extra substitute to the 5 permitted for other injuries or tactical reasons is applied to the team and the other team. The bonus of that, they can bring on an extra player as well. We're going to deal with that. Erling Haaland's out there running, it seems, again. Preston wants to take the free kick. Quickly, Trossard. It's good responsibility for Rodri, who's recognised that down this side, Trossard is a threat. He's had to come out. It's a central role to deal with it. Gundogan to Rodri. Has moved for the ball. People's intention to try and find him. Here's Trossard again, getting behind Manchester City this time, and coming in at pace, getting across the front of his man. Eddie Nketiah in form, Eddie. And looked for a fraction of a second as though he was going to add another to his tally.
I'm not quite sure what Lewis was doing. Almost just allowed Trossard to run towards the byline. Didn't show any urgency to get there. Right at the last minute, he sticks a leg out. Nketiah making a run across the defender, Akanji. Good from Arsenal again. Started with Tierney winning that first ball. It's Gabriel that wins the first ball. Now comes out to Mahrez, and Tierney's infield against De Bruyne. You see him going again. Maybe that's one of the reasons De Bruyne hasn't had too many touches the way they've dealt with him.
It's almost a kind of City's book, isn't it? Well, what a surprise. Mikel Arteta, 3.5 years under Pep Guardiola. Successful time as well. Arteta combo in the Premier League twice, the League Cup twice, and the FA Cup in 2019. Of course, then Arteta went to Arsenal and won it again the next year as manager of the club. That's from now. City out in the semi-final.
That's where Erling Haaland has got to do a little bit better at Man City. Sometimes he's got to link up the play, he's got to be the main centre forward. And he's back to goal. He's always done that particularly well this season.
throws long, looking for Nketiah, finding Nketiah. Tierney. Ball. The Switzerland international. First season, and Guardiola said after his first game it was a dream debut. He's certainly lived up to expectations. They've got options. Ruben Diaz has been out for a while. He's on his way back. Of course, and here is Grealish. Gabriel getting very tight alongside each other, making sure there was a glimmer of space for Haaland.
That was much better from Grealish. Picked up the ball, went inside of Tomiyasu, started running at pace. That's what we saw 6-7 times a game when he was playing for Aston Villa. I'm not sure we've always seen it at Man City. He's been asked to pass it more than run with it.
That's true. They're being told to get up by referee Tierney, and then Grealish does commit a foul. Broadcastable comment.
Well, that's where they wanted a foul. He thought that Thomas Partey had just nudged him to the ground, and then when they try and win the ball back, the referee gives a foul. Frustration for the City fans, who haven't really seen their side play so far.
Manchester has been probably a dark place for Arsenal to visit down the years. They're won the domestic defeat of the Premier League this season. It was at Old Trafford back in September. Tomiyasu. Switch it to Tierney, and he has done just that. He does play on the front foot, on the left foot. Kieran Tierney. If there is going to be a miscalculated cross, it's more likely to be an overhit one. Steams in to possession. Steams into the tackle as well.
A couple of years ago, he was Arsenal's best player by quite some way, wasn't he? It used to be Tierney and number 10 were picked. He had a bad injury. And Zinchenko has been the main left back this season.
An iffy throw from Ake, but judged as an unfair one. Scored in 25 of their 27 games this season. Away to PSV and at home to Newcastle. PSV, of course, in the Europa League. And Gabriel, and Haaland. He's got so many qualities of which speed is one.
Speed and power. He was never favourite to get to that ball. Well, he is chasing it. There's a missed kick by Tierney. They were slow to get there. Half a chance for the Norwegian.
I think he got away with that, Gabriel.
The centre-halves for Arsenal have been good this year, Gabriel and Saliba. But we do still feel as though there's an odd mistake in their game.
Stones. A challenge in, but come away with the ball. Lewis, Mahrez. Nketiah, there's a bit of confusion here between Stones and the goalkeeper. Nketiah very nearly cashed in, and might still cash in because of his trotter. City looking rather out of sorts here. Well, that's a credit to Arsenal. All these changes haven't made too much difference to the confidence and the quality of their play. One thing about Manchester City, they can flick a switch and certainly find themselves in front even when they're not playing particularly well. Grealish forcing it through to Haaland. Grealish keeps going. De Bruyne. goals on the scene as well. Grealish crosses. Turner takes the trajectory well. Down his line, let it go past into the goal.
And that started because Grealish, that's it there, Grealish went on a run. Just went past the first challenge, that made Arsenal defend that a little bit deeper. Certainly no offside there with Grealish, and then Haaland tries to get in front of Gabriel, which he'd done, but the cross wasn't quite good enough on Grealish.
Pep Guardiola's had to change a few things. He's obviously trying to work with Haaland on his game as well. But, the aerial route is not something that Manchester City were known for, probably since Edin Dzeko left. And you often see them slide the ball in. There's a wonderful goal against Chelsea scored by Phil Foden. That kind of move in the third round. On the low road. Distribution by Ortega. Holding yellow card is going to add to his problems. Blocking off Haaland's attempt to get to the ball.
So that's the ball the goalkeeper's got to play. They're leaving the space so he can just chip it into that area. Haaland gets away from Holding, plays it square, and then tries to run off. And it's a silly bit of play by Holding. He's always going to get a yellow card from that. He must realise that Haaland's going to play it square and make a run in behind him.
Sent off, you might recall, in the North London derby, a very crucial time at the back end of last season, away to Spurs. And Arsenal if they'd won the game, they would have gone into the Champions League. And Holding didn't survive the first half. His nemesis that night was Son Heung-min. Certainly Haaland posing the problems for him here.
Some of the key players we talked about before the game haven't really been at their best. Even Saka, who has been magnificent for Arsenal this season, has really gone past Ake with any regularity.
Ake looks the kind of defender that you might have trouble with, similar size, similar speed. Not sure the England left back had a tough time on Sunday. Saka is irresistible. And it's Vieira. Still getting used to saying Vieira again in an Arsenal commentary. Patrick, who's serving football well as a manager these days, of course, Crystal Palace. As well with Manchester City as a player towards the end of his career.
Coached their youth side, didn't he, for a while? Before he moved to MLS.
They used to sing he comes from Senegal, he plays for Arsenal. Vieira comes from Portugal. Here's Nketiah. And he is playing for Arsenal. They'll be there in time. Rodri. Standard, that was a straightforward pass, but it was maybe a measure of the fact that Manchester City haven't been able to relax on the ball in this game, because Arsenal have done so well as they close in on the first half. Damage on the scoreline, and they've had a couple of good efforts themselves. Tomiyasu and Trossard attempts to take the lead here and find a passage into round 5 of the FA Cup.
Just saw the possession stats there. Yes, Man City have had more possession. And a lot of that has been in their defending third, not being able to get it out from back to front. The only time they have got it from back to front is when the goalkeeper's gone straight into Haaland.
nobody. Gabriel. Here's Trossard. Taking on 2.
Stones has pulled his hamstring here.
He's had a lot of recent problems.
Just watch him here as Trossard goes inside of him. Just there, you can see him pull up, then puts his hand to the back of his leg. That's not good for the centre-back.
Right on the stroke of half-time. A couple of added minutes to come, of course. A little bit more to add to that now.
They've got a couple of players who can come straight on. Kyle Walker can come and play as the right-sided centre-half in what is at times a back 3, or they can play Laporte and everybody moves across one.
Or Ruben Diaz.
Yeah, Diaz.
Who hasn't played too much since coming back injured from the World Cup. And there's Laporte, who was also at the World Cup. Part of the Spain side that in the end disappointed. And John Stones is the study in disappointment here. And the only escape clause is if it's a bit of cramp. I don't know whether Pep Guardiola can wait till half-time for a real check-up. He's going to make this change, which is, of course, counts as one of the windows if he leaves it till half-time. He still has the full set of 3, but we'll see. Well, it doesn't look too good for the England man.
So it was a great first half for him. On the board, he couldn't see a pass forward. He took too long at times. The crowd were just irritated by it. As he's trying to recover, just pulls his hamstring. It's never good.
Emirates Laporte. He's sitting back down again. I just wonder if they're thinking about this window.
Yeah, I think Pep Guardiola's just asking the referee, how long are you going to play?
Yeah. Because you get the full 3 windows in the second half if half-time they make a change and Stones comes off then. So maybe they're just going to go through this a couple of minutes and take a chance. It's Granit Xhaka. It's a chance for Arsenal, really. He's just gone in. He played for Spain, of course, as a centre-back. In tandem with Laporte. Come on. Unlucky John Stones, an FA Cup casualty. Gabriel. Tierney trying to get forward. Added time to added time. The end of the first half, but has been perhaps slightly against the perceived wisdom when the teams were announced, that Arsenal were the ones that really decided to rotate. Keep some aces up their sleeves maybe for the certainly the next Premier League meeting, which is only a couple of weeks away. The first of the 2.
He's got to be the happier of the 2 managers. His side have controlled the game. Controlled the pace of the game, should I say. And a couple of good chances. His side have never really got going. It's all been a bit ponderous. More mistakes than we normally see from a Man City team when they've been passing. No real penetration.
And at half-time, as you say, Arsenal with more to be pleased about. Threatening twice themselves with Tomiyasu and Trossard. Erling Haaland has given problems to Rob Holding in particular, who's picked up a yellow card. Is just trying to put his point of view to referee Tierney, who showed that yellow card to him. But the meat of the matter to come in the second half, you feel, of course. The replay is available. Welcome back to the Etihad. Arsenal have made a double substitution at half-time. Saliba to the centre of the defence. Lokonga into midfield. I think we're too surprised about the change at the back, Stuart.
No, I think he was having a really tough time, wasn't he? Holding against the main man, Haaland.
Gets the second half underway. Half in which he did have more of the ball, as Stuart pointed out. That was playing around this kind of situation at the back. Arsenal carried a fair bit of menace, particularly with Trossard. It's often said that Thomas Partey is an absolute essential for Arsenal to do well. We're going to see now his departure at half-time, whether that actually is as significant as the general philosophy about Arsenal is. Partey, they're not quite the same. Lokonga just going to take on the same job. Saliba reunited with Gabriel. Maybe a move that Mikel Arteta possibly didn't want to do. If you want to play him, we'll play him from the start. Anyway, we'll see. By Laporte, who, of course, City's substitute right on the stroke of half-time. John Stones went off. Tomiyasu looking for a way out. Of course, he's got a way out with a goal kick. Grealish doesn't agree with that.
Yeah, that's about the best he could have hoped for there.
Yeah.
Not sure Saliba's pass to him was a particularly good one. Put him in a bit of trouble.
It was 0-0. Manchester City have scored in all their home games this season. Arsenal domestic away games. As I mentioned, the first half they drew a blank in the Netherlands away to PSV Eindhoven in European competition. Tierney, for Trossard. Tierney goes again. Always wanting the ball to run out, but it hasn't. It goes out for Kanji. And Arsenal get the throw. The only time Manchester City have beaten Arsenal in the FA Cup was in 1904. A few meetings given the stature of the two clubs. Gundogan. With great affection, it was a fifth-round game at the old Main Road Stadium. And the Emirates won the League and Cup double. 70-71, 2-1. 2 goals from Charlie George, who I saw on Sunday attending the Manchester United fixture at the Emirates, still as chirpy as ever.
Yeah, apart from the long hair, he doesn't look much different, does he?
There's Tomiyasu. Turner.
Yeah, that was a very good Manchester City team at that time, 1971.
Scorer of their goal is Colin Bell. That's a good point. He's trying to flick it up. Here's Kanji. Now Rodri. Lewis.
It's always interesting when Manchester City don't play particularly well in the first half. What Pep Guardiola does at half-time to change things around. Will it be tactical? Will it be personnel? He's had to make the change with Laporte coming on at centre-half. Don't see too much difference in the way they're trying to play here.
Yes, well, again, Granit Xhaka goes straight on to him, so it makes it hard for City to involve him. Tierney gets a toe to it. Vieira. Again, short pass was aimed. Gabriel, and it's a foul by Emirates.
I think there's a confidence about Arsenal at the moment when they're in possession, when they're defending. Now they can go and close the ball down and make Manchester City play backwards. When they do have possession, they can kick the ball, they can look penetrative at times.
Gabriel. Kanji. Turning in crisply again. Shazam. Xhaka. To his own destiny then. He stumbled on the ball and here's De Bruyne. Haaland. Tomiyasu to the ground. Away with the ball. I think that the Paul Tierney was going to blow, maybe not.
That was actually very good defending by Tomiyasu and Saliba, I think it was. And trying to make the run in behind them. Kevin De Bruyne with time on the ball. He tried to pick out the right pass.
Grealish. Into a mistake, make sure City keep possession. Gundogan able to turn, now De Bruyne. Turner came out and reached it, anticipated it well. Lewis. Lewis, De Bruyne. Lewis has continued the run. Look at that. They won here against Wolves in their last game last weekend. Haaland hat-trick, but the game before that, they were 2-0 down at half-time to Tottenham here 10 days ago, and attacking this end of the ground in a storming second half. Scored 4, could have scored more, walked away with the points.
Good run from Lewis. Xhaka looked across at the assistant on that side, was hoping it was going to be given offside. He allowed him to run in behind him. Just didn't have the awareness or composure at the end of the run to find the right cross.
No, it's the sort of run that Kevin De Bruyne makes to great effect. It's that time. It's part of a mantra for Manchester City. Respect in this fixture, starting of course from the two managers. Manchester City have been able to pull away. They had to do it because it must have been so good, but now must have an issue with goalkeeper Matt Turner. He reached out for that ball in, and he damaged his shoulder.
Well, probably as he landed. He actually read it quite well. He realised that Kevin De Bruyne was going to bend it into the space. So he just take a couple of steps. Didn't seem to be an awkward landing. Have another look at it.
There's that side. Fell on the left-hand side. Aaron Ramsdale seems to be very relaxed about it. It's always a cheerful sort of soul. Of course, the first choice goalkeeper. opportunity for a tactical timeout. Which of course isn't in the protocol of the game, but more and more seems to be evident. It's okay. Walker's experience. Utilised, it seems, by Leicester City in the second half. There's the one substitute so far, Laporte. Towards Haaland. Ricochets to Grealish. And get Mahrez away here. That's the leading numbers back. Mahrez. De Bruyne. Another good save by Turner. Tested the injury. Here's Lewis. City trying to keep the pressure on. It's been difficult for them to have sustained passages of play here.
Well, that was the sort of run you were talking about from Kevin De Bruyne, and that was the overlap rather than the one just inside Mahrez. He timed it to perfection, the pass, Mahrez. Just wonder whether Kevin De Bruyne was looking to score himself, or actually crossing it for the run of Erling Haaland.
Mahrez. So the first line of defence for Arsenal. Mahrez gets the better of him. Never does any harm when you're a striker to give the goalkeeper a bump or two.
Here's that moment again. Gabriel's the player that goes out. That reverse pass is brilliant. I think he was looking for the cross. Good save by the goalkeeper, Turner.
That would have been the typical City goal we were talking about in the first half. Slided across and tap in.
So I'd say that probably Tomiyasu would have got to it first as well. It was good defending by him at the far post, and it got that far. Here come the changes.
Julian Alvarez and Kyle Walker. Gabriel. Sure for Lewis. Alvarez had a big part in that comeback against Spurs. Scored the first goal before Haaland scored the second. Are penalised, and the changes can be made. Like Mahrez, dispatched a penalty against Chelsea in the last round of his FA Cup debut. So Mahrez off. And not his night, he's had some very good nights recently. Alvarez showing signs of promise when he went off to the World Cup as a backup player. He'd seen for Argentina, forced his way into the team, scored 4 goals in the tournament. And he's come back full of beans.
And there's some instructions for Kevin De Bruyne as Walker came onto the field here. Maybe a change of shape, change of roles for one or two of the players.
Can't get number 9, get number 19. Forward. 9 and 19 are in harness here. So the flag was up. It's a fascinating game because neither team would want to replay. Crowded schedule. 3 more games between them to come. Vieira, with his talent, at least half a chance.
Does he need to take it quite so early? I'm not sure what the Paul is doing. He turns his back on it. He's taking another touch into the box, maybe, Vieira.
He needed to hit the middle of the ball, not the outside of his leg a bit, but it is a difficult skill. Alvarez. Bruyne. Looking for Grealish, but Tomiyasu's in the way.
Good play, Tomiyasu. Yes, it had a bit of height on it. The ball out from De Bruyne. Those fullbacks have done that quite well. They've been in a position where they can get out and put the wide player under a bit of pressure early on.
It's been a good out for this much changed Arsenal team. Away by Gabriel. Walker's had his fitness issues this season. He was really pushing hard to get in that World Cup squad because of surgery in October. He made it. Decent displays, particularly in the game against France against Mbappe. Kieran Tierney. It's a combination has to try to put together down that left-hand side. When Tierney plays, they go much more down the outside. When Zinchenko plays, it's more of a infield man, really. Normally a left back.
Alvarez is going to play up alongside Haaland. Kevin De Bruyne has moved a bit further out to the right-hand side.
It's about 4-2-4, isn't it, really, with Grealish?
Chance for Arsenal, maybe, because the two centre-halves are going to be isolated at times for Manchester City.
Difficult one for Nketiah. Gundogan. And Manchester City make a breakthrough here. With Gundogan again, but he stumbles into it. And it's a goal kick, and German is the leader of the pack now. Back into trying to find the formula from midfield. Outside Rodri. Saliba.
You see that Man City have had more of the ball, but a lot of those passes have been ineffective in terms of penetration.
Vieira. The Congo has done well. Straight away, Saka popping up more centrally. Vieira. Arsenal fans enjoying this. Possession against the masters of possession.
Well, they seem to know where their next pass is at the moment. Look comfortable on the ball. They've wriggled away from situations. They've been first to the knockdowns. They haven't completely dominating the game, because they haven't done that. Still, I would say they've been the better team so far.
Saka. Haaland. That's done by Gundogan. Alvarez looking for De Bruyne. Needs to stop the corner, he's done that. So he's wincing a little bit.
No fault.
Alvarez. Port. Kanji. It's not picked up, so he'll have a crack. Oh, hits the post, comes out to Grealish. Decided not to hit it first time. Challenged by Tomiyasu. Ake trying to place it, he placed it beautifully. Manchester City do have the breakthrough. Nathan Ake backing up the play after Alvarez Alvarez had hit the post. City kept on going, and they lead Arsenal by 1-0.
Well, what a good strike that was from Alvarez to start with. You said it, nobody really closed him down. He had space in front of him. And I think Grealish does exactly the right thing here. It was always going to be difficult to hit this first time with his left foot. First touch wasn't great. He kept his composure, found that bit of space, and then he sets up Nathan Ake on his weaker right foot. What a good finish that is. Xhaka tries to step across the line of the ball. Tomiyasu stops Grealish going past him. It's that reverse pass, and it just opens up nicely, doesn't it, for Nathan Ake? We're right behind it here. Saka can't get a block in. Saliba comes out, and what a good finish.
Well, they are the pass masters, and he's passed it into the net.
Yeah, taken a slight deflection off the defender, but it's a good finish all the same, and that's what it means to Manchester City.
Because it's been tough, been hard going. And the response now from Mikel Arteta is to shuffle the pack. Trossard has been quieter in the second half. His way to Gabriel Martinelli, of course, who is the first choice down that left-hand side. And back at the Etihad. FA Cup winner, of course, with Manchester City in 2019. Alex Zinchenko facing Tierney. There's the other left-back who's made the breakthrough. Here's Tomiyasu. Zinchenko. A very popular figure here. Fans and with the players. Oh, and Nketiah. Laporte seemed to intervene. He took it off Nketiah's toes. Stuart's about to tell us.
Well, that's a great ball played into the box by Xhaka. Oh, big chance. Laporte may just get something on this just there. He does. It's an important touch. Nketiah would have just passed it with the inside of his right boot into the back of the net.
Well, he definitely did, because it is a corner. Not been a game we've been over-blessed with corners. Arsenal have one now as they look for an equaliser here. Taken by Bukayo Saka. Goalkeeper makes it his. A couple of Champions League games and the League Cup, which has been City's competition of choice often this season. This is his second FA Cup game.
That's the question, what would Pep Guardiola do to change things? And that was to play with two up front. Almost go, as you said, 4-2-4 or 4-4-2. De Bruyne is just slightly tucked in on that right-hand side. Gundogan's dropped deeper to play alongside Rodri.
That's what you get with a forward who wants to score goals as the players come on. It's not something that Pep Guardiola tends to encourage, shots from outside the area, but it's a vital part in the goal that eventually went down to Ake. Here's Saka, coming off Grealish. Martinelli. Chico outside and headed away by Laporte. We've got a game on there.
Good response, isn't it, from Arsenal?
Tomiyasu. Nketiah coming in, trying to set up Martinelli. Copybook here. The last time Arsenal played in that 5-0 defeat, and he got sent off, and I thought then that we'd be seeing him step back into the captaincy when required. Changed in his role, as Stuart said earlier. He's also changed in his sense of discipline. crazy player, but he just made the odd crazy tackle. 5 red cards for Arsenal.
One of the problems he had is because he's not blessed with great pace. And when Arsenal were out of shape, he quite often had to race across the field as quick as he could do and get a challenge in. He was often late.
He's looking for Saka. Grealish did well. Tackling back in. Now back out. Saliba. Conga. Martinelli. That's offside. Get it to move quicker, I think was Martinelli's message. That's offside.
I'm sure that Dzeko could have got too many quicker. He took one touch and then passed it out there.
Not quick enough for the young Brazilian. Turner, really quick off the blocks.
The referee, I think, has given a foul against Haaland.
So I think Manchester City now they've got the goal for Alvarez to drop a little bit deeper. They've had a good spell through the midfield, but not getting into. Nketiah nearly did into a position to affect the scoreline.
Lots of spaces for Arsenal attack. De Bruyne attacking in from the right-hand side. They can get Zinchenko forward down that left-hand side along with Martinelli.
Grealish. Haaland can turn. De Bruyne to the right. Now Rodri. Okay, maybe a bit of taste for another one. Tempo, Manchester City. Arsenal do a bit of chasing. Part of their modus operandi is that they wear out the opposition. There's the full width of the pitch. And gets a touch.
Playing back in the square too often, it encourages the opposition to come and close the ball down. To go and win it higher up the field.
Conga. Now Martinelli. Zinchenko. Saka, for a moment, isolate him. Okay, gets his cross in. It's the kind of ball that Nketiah can really thrive on. And get across the man at the front post. Nearly scored in the first half doing that. With 70 minutes played, Arsenal made some substitutions, maybe too high a press is a bit too much for them. Frightened of getting picked off from Manchester City's ability to play through a press. Just numbers up the field, but not really engaging. Kanji. Talk goes long. And Turner again. He's not made the best contact this time. He's done that aspect of his play very well. One in the first half, which is making an outfield player's tackle.
Just looking at Gabriel there. The referee thought that he was fouled. by Hart, and I thought it was the other way round.
Saka off, to Odegaard on. Bernardo Silva. Replacing Kevin De Bruyne.
The two players we picked out probably didn't have their most effective games. De Bruyne wasn't at his best tonight. Really involved enough, didn't have enough time on the ball to pick out those passes we were talking about. I think we can say the same about Saka. Really lost the duel against Nathan Ake.
I've lost the match against Nathan Ake, Arsenal. Still more than 15 minutes to go. They played with enough panache to suggest that they are certainly not out of the FA Cup yet. And now with Odegaard captain on. Player that probably Mikel Arteta didn't really want to use. The circumstances dictate. Odegaard going into the tackle. Bernardo Silva recently arrived as well, avoiding the challenges.
Looks like as though Vieira's going to play that little bit wider. Odegaard is going to play infield.
Out already, it was their throw. Arsenal beat City in the semi-final in 1932, lost the final to Newcastle in the 5th round in 71, went on to win the FA Cup in the semi-final in 2017, went on to win the FA Cup and the same in 2020 at that stage. So City will feel they're long overdue a win. 1904, what was the second round then, but it's the equivalent of the 4th round, so same sort of stage. They won 2-0. One might be enough here.
After the goal, Arsenal had a bit of pressure on, a bit more intensity going forward. They've just slowed that down now.
By Walker, and Bernardo Silva trying to get on the outside of Xhaka. Wearing your match studs and you go onto that artificial turf, which is many a Premier League pitch actually, to try and stop the ground being worn down by the assistant referees. Give them a good purchase and footwear that's more attuned to turf. And the outcome is a free kick to Manchester City. Trusted to Jack Grealish here, with Kevin De Bruyne now off the pitch. He was up high. Ahead of the ball. Alvarez missed it away. There's a good challenge there by Akanji. Good fist again. Penners look good.
Yeah, it is a good punch, but I think from that position he probably should get two hands on it. That's the safer technique. But it wasn't a bad effort from the goalkeeper.
Here's Laporte. He did the job. Yeah, I take the point.
That's all that matters. Yeah, he did the job. See Odegaard is going to play as close as he can to the centre forward and get it.
17 goals between them in all competitions, Nketiah and Odegaard. They have shared the goals around this season. They haven't got anywhere near a third of Erling Haaland's goals in all competitions. They are near, not as many. Here is Grealish. scored a couple of times, both times in the Premier League. Rodri wanted to join in, but Zinchenko gets there first. Here's Akanji. They've worked hard to try and themselves level. Take it down to North London for a replay.
At the moment, they can't quite get enough possession, as you just saw there, since the goal, the last 15 minutes. Man City have just edged it, 51%.
Martinelli. Saliba. Martinelli to make a run. Deeper position to catch City out. Responsibility. Martinelli, been amongst the goals, he's got 7 this season. There's Rodri, pursued by Odegaard. Xhaka. City win it back in Arsenal territory. And Haaland. There's a reward for that enterprise. Grealish. Gundogan. Getting that position, shot that hit the post. He has another one here that stings the hands of Turner. Same sort of area, quite the same outcome.
Yeah, good strike though. I think this was dipping and swerving on the goalkeeper. He did well to hang on to it, Turner.
Tomiyasu. Towards Nketiah. Nice touch from the main front man. Odegaard. Here's Xhaka. Zinchenko. Conga. Since Saka went off, Vieira's been stationed on the right, as you rightly say, trying to influence the play from a more central position, which he loves to do. Almost up on one side of Nketiah. Make an extra man in the box. Most of them getting in the position to play into the box is difficult.
When he first came to Arsenal, he played in the number 10 role, didn't he? But it's played slightly deeper this season.
They've got to take a risk here. Arteta's team, or they're going out of the FA Cup, and much will be made of the rivalry between Mikel and Pep. What this might mean. No one will talk about the FA Cup tie when they meet in the league. This will be consigned to the weekend's stories. And eventually, who goes into the draw, which will happen later in the weekend. Zinchenko. At the moment, it looks like Guardiola's team are going to make the progress. Tomiyasu. Again, Odegaard again. See the difference between Zinchenko and Tierney. Zinchenko working infield like he is here. Forward for Martinelli. And, City wanted offside.
And that's what Walker brings to Manchester City, that pace. Great recovery run. Just about got back in there.
Set piece can do the trick. Jovet. Walker, 2 old hands. Grabbing. The referee's not looking. The referee was looking. This might all be a distraction if the ball goes somewhere else. Good header from Rodri. Was away, but here's Martinelli round the back. Still going. And it's another corner. He is up the ante.
He certainly has. Did well to get along the byline. Very difficult to pick anybody out here. Gundogan was looking for the cutback. That's where he stopped.
Martinelli is probably well aware that Leandro Trossard has done impressively on his first substitute and tonight his first start.
Hasn't quite got the pace of Martinelli. And he's clever on the ball, Trossard, as we saw.
Here's Zinchenko. This time just an Arsenal throw. 5 minutes left by stoppage time. Arsenal still pushing. Saliba. Martinelli's off again. City make sure that Arsenal don't get in behind them. Saliba advancing. On the right. Odegaard. Various teams are very good on the ball, but they're being asked to be very good without the ball here. They're doing the job as time ticks on. Is the enemy to Arsenal. Saliba. Here's Nketiah. Xhaka. Step through for Martinelli and Ortega is flying out.
Did well, the goalkeeper. Read the situation here. Not a bad pass from Xhaka. Martinelli would have been offside anyway. And comes out quickly.
Odegaard. Arsenal an avenue to play out from the back, and they've done that well. Zinchenko have done it very well. Turn it into something memorable here. Martinelli. And he's got past Walker, which takes a bit of doing. And it comes for, in the end, Ortega. Nketiah looked round. Must have thought he's got a seminal chance for an equaliser.
I talked about Walker's pace. Martinelli beat him quite easily there. Just for a moment, Gundogan put his right boot on the ball. Looks like he put it back into a dangerous area.
Zinchenko and Bernardo Silva happy to get that. Use up a bit more time. Play on even though she's on the deck. Portini recognising it wasn't a serious injury. Don't win many games 1-0 Manchester City. I think it's a testimony to Arsenal's part in this FA Cup tie. That's where we are in the 89th minute.
Well, Man City aren't really looking for a second goal, are they? They're just trying to keep possession. It can be a dangerous game if you keep going backwards and square. Needs one mistake, one bad pass.
Picks up the loose ball. Through was an avenue in the inside left channel for Nketiah.
He took a gamble, and Kanji stepped out, made the challenge. Good job he did. Left the space in behind him.
Nketiah, running deep. It's having a great effect. Now they're not really thinking long and hard about a second goal. In terms of ensuring possession, Ake cast in the role of match winner here for Manchester City. Silva, Gundogan. So how much is on the board when it goes up?
He's had another good game, hasn't he, Rodri? He's got control of the ball in that midfield area. He's switched the play at the right time. He's gone forward when he needs to. Square at the right time as well.
Number was 4. Seen the television in the UK before the Manchester derby recently. Paul Scholes, who knows a thing or two about midfield play, obviously of Manchester United stock, but he was saying before the game I thought Rodri was the most influential Manchester City player. As I said earlier, he gets picked as Fernandinho's moved on, who had that role for a while. They played in tandem sometimes. Rodri has got a great sense of game management. Zinchenko gets a yellow card in his return. The Etihad.
Of course, he also played at centre-half, didn't he, Rodri, for Spain in the World Cup? Didn't do that.
Friends, but followers for a few more minutes. Just to Kyle Walker, Nathan Ake, about to bathe in the glory. Too many left-backs get FA Cup winning goals at a tie of this magnitude.
Make no mistake about it, his major contribution was stopping Saka playing. Yeah. Saka was Arsenal's danger man. He's been brilliant over the course of the season and maybe the last 18 months. Best player, I thought, at the World Cup in terms of running with the ball.
You've seen him off.
And scored the goal as well. With a card for Gundogan for time wasting, I think, here.
Haaland. Silva. Had to be careful. Emirates muscling in. Bernardo Silva comes out with the ball. Alvarez played it actually if he'd looked up to Haaland. Deeper we go into added time. The second goal looks more like a bonus than a necessity. And on the verge, Manchester City, of reaching the 5th round of the FA Cup. And as you said, referees have been quite hot this season on time wasting. It's a hot topic. The officials with no time to waste to try and get the ball up the pitch and numbers up the pitch. See the best. Off Ake was impeded. Taking actions, the referee. Lost their only league game this season. Manchester United here in September. I'll be too pleased to see him in the Manchester area when they're playing away again, Arsenal.
Well, Man City certainly haven't been at their best. Arsenal controlled parts of the game, didn't look under too much pressure. Man City's fans were frustrated. They didn't play at the tempo they normally do, but they've got the job done as we look at this.
stays this way, it will be pointed out in Arsenal's favour. Erling Haaland's played the whole game and not scored. This is Arteta's first attempt to keep him quiet. As though he was going to run the show when Rob Holding had those early problems. Substitution at half-time. So, in that respect. Zinchenko.
Frustrated with himself, it was a poor challenge, not a dirty challenge, just mistimed, too upright. I don't think he'd get a second yellow for that. Be surprised anyway.
I have seen him sent off actually against the North London team. He sent off at Tottenham. And the auspices of Pep Guardiola then.
Well, the great thing for Manchester City in the FA Cup, they now know they're the highest ranked team in the tournament.
They have knocked out the league leaders. Much will be made of this with the 2 league games to come. Cursory handshake between 2 very good friends, but Mikel Arteta understandably disappointed. Arsenal, with their great FA Cup record, have been knocked out. It's a second hurdle as far as they're concerned. Manchester City, thanks to Nathan Ake, with a delightfully executed finish. As I said at the time, they love to pass the ball, Manchester City, and he passed it beyond Matt Turner, who